It's about 5 a.m. here now and the sun hasn't quite come up yet. The stillness of the frozen air heightens each of the senses, making the little details of a glimmering frost or the bird song even more inspiring. For those of you that are new here, we're a family that bought 140 acres off the grid in Australia almost a year ago. And this is the beautiful spot that we call home. This is Chimney Creek Farm. We've been getting below 0 degrees temperatures overnights now, and we're getting a lot of frost. So this morning was particularly icy, and I'll take you around and show you what our property looks like when this happens. But we also need to prepare. In 2 days' time, we're having about 8 or 9 teenagers arrive to camp on our property. So we're about to set them up in one of our paddocks not too far away from our shed that we're camping in and around. So this is one of the buckets of water that we had left outside overnight. And you can see that there's a layer of ice that's formed on the top. And this is our outdoor setting. It's all covered in frost. And the windscreen of our ute. And here's a petrol container that we left on the back of the ute overnight. In the back of the ute. Also the trailer, the roof of the trailer just covered in ice. As the days are a lot colder now, a lot more time is spent indoors beside the fire. And this is our bladder of water on the back of the ute. We use this as a backup for storing water for showers and things like that. It's frozen inside. Look at those ice crystals just glistening in the sun. So as you can see, there's ice coming out of our tap, from our valve, from our rainwater tank. Luckily we had some water inside, so we'll need to boil this water up and pour it over the tap. And then hopefully the water will start to run. The crisp white frost is just the perfect background to allow nature's colours to pop. I lived in Armidale, it's not too far from here, when I went to university, and we had to do this kind of thing quite a lot on the winter mornings. It's working. And this is a bucket of dirty water that we left out overnight. The ice layer is quite thick and hard to break. And the frost has also got to some of the plants in our garden. I'll show you that in another update. Apparently the frost is good for the citrus trees though, and they're doing quite well. And there's just a little bit of an ice layer on top of each of our pieces of wood in a wood pile. So we're setting Eli's friend's campsite up nearby. We've mowed the area so that we can put a fire pit in there, and it's not going to, if there's strong winds, it's not going to let the fire catch fire to the grasses that are really dry around the area. So Eli's collecting the rocks to set up the fire pit for his friends. Eli worked really hard for a couple of days before his friends arrived, preparing the campsite for them and making sure that they had everything that they would need. Living a simple life is about being close to nature and learning from the earth. It's beautiful, it's relaxing, and it helps create sustainable development. Simplicity or a simple life is staying in the present and not making things complicated. Simplicity is about how to use our resources wisely, keeping our future generations in mind. Living a simple life is giving patience, friendship and encouragement. And it's appreciating the small things in life. Living a simple life is freedom from material desires and permission to simply just be. We try to avoid waste as much as possible. And we try to avoid things that are focused on greed, fear, peer pressure, and a false sense of identity. Living a simple life grows generosity and sharing, and it's about putting others first, with kindness, openness, pure intention, without expectations and conditions. It's about learning from the wisdom of native cultures and also just accepting things as they are. It calls on using your instinct and intuition and insight, and also it's about appreciating the beauty of all around us. Living a simple life asks us whether we're being induced to produce or purchase unnecessary products. And it's also about being content with what you have. We didn't realise until afterwards, but after we moved some of the rocks, we found that there were some frogs living underneath the rocks. So we've got a couple of white ones and a couple of black ones. We might have to build a frog hotel for them to live in. Eli's just collecting some kindling and firewood for his friend's fire pit. We also fertilised and watered some of our trees that we planted that are still alive. Now Eli's just topping up the fuel in the mower just so that he can go down out of this paddock and look for some more firewood for his friends. Our ride-on mower has been donated to us and it's been great for us. It's done a really hard job, as you can see. It's gone through all our long grass out there on the property, but we're looking at trying to get something a little bit bigger, a tractor or a slasher or something that can help us out a little bit more with some of these paddocks of really long dry grass. Nature puts on a spectacular show for anyone willing to brave the cold. And even though the days are shorter, they're still filled with natural wonder. Seeing the sun emerge after each long night brings a new sense of renewal and light. The stillness and solitude allows time for quiet reflection and tranquil moments of peace. These freezing temperatures have the power to seemingly feel like time has stopped. So the next morning, Eli set up all the camp chairs for his friend's arrival that day, and then we set up a couple of their tents for them just to make it a bit easier because they were arriving in the afternoon, so we were trying to make it a nice and welcoming place for them to come to. We also mowed this path between their campsite and the shed just in case they needed to access anything up with us at the shed at any time. So all up, we spent a couple of hours mowing the area, a couple of hours collecting rocks and setting up the fire pit, a couple of hours collecting some kindling and firewood to get them started, and then a couple of hours setting up their tents for them. And there's my mum doing a bit of raking for us. So they all arrived by walking down our access track from the main road, and then one parent of one of the boys came along as well with all their gear and her all-wheel drive. They're camping for 3 nights, so let's see how they go. Even amid winter's dark shadows and freezing air, the beauty of our natural world still shines bright. So it looks like we're going to have a clear and cloudless night, and because we're down in the valley and the cold air flows downhill, it's going to be a very cold night tonight. So the first night all the kids or the teenagers were camping with us, it was -2 degrees below zero, and there was ice everywhere again the next morning. So all the teenagers look cold, but they're all still alive, which is the main thing. Thank you so much for watching and sharing our journey with us. We really do appreciate it.